The sun had barely risen on the quiet morning of July 8, 2017, when a routine drive along a suburban roadside turned into a scene of unimaginable tragedy. Police lights pierced the calm, their flashing colors painting the surroundings in stark contrast to the serene setting. In a parked car, Jason Mitchell, an 18-year-old high school quarterback with a future as bright as his accolades, was found unresponsive. Jason wasn't just another teenager. He was a name known to everyone, a leader on the field, a scholar in the classroom, and a figure the community held in high regard. Yet here he was, his promising life brought to a halt. At first glance, the scene seemed ordinary, no signs of forced entry, no visible struggle. But as investigators probed deeper, it became clear this was no accident. Jason Mitchell had been murdered. The weapon? A calculated injection of potassium cyanide, an act as deliberate as it was chilling. Who would target someone like Jason? Why would anyone extinguish a life so full of potential? And what lay beneath the surface of the life he presented to the world? The answers to these questions would unravel a web of relationships, secrets, and actions that even the closest to him never saw coming. Before we delve into the layers of this complex and heart-wrenching case, make sure to hit that like button. It helps us reach more true crime enthusiasts who share our curiosity for unraveling stories like this one. And if you have a friend who thrives on untangling mysteries, share this video with them. Now, let's uncover the truth behind the discovery that shook a community to its core. Jason Mitchell was more than a name in Pinewood. He was a presence, a force that people admired and celebrated. On the field, he was the kind of athlete that inspired roaring cheers from the stands. A quarterback whose precision passes and strategic plays brought the team closer to championship glory. Off the field, he was equally magnetic. Teachers praised him for his sharp mind and leadership qualities, while classmates gravitated toward his easy charm and unwavering determination. Yearbook photos immortalized his broad smile and confident stance. Local newspapers ran headlines that told the story of his triumphs. Star quarterback leads Pinewood to victory. Jason Mitchell, the heart of the team. To his community, Jason wasn't just another high school senior. He was the pride of Pinewood, a symbol of its future, embodying hope, discipline, and ambition in a town that cherished its small-town heroes. Yet, Jason's promise extended beyond the football field. His parents, both respected physicians, had instilled in him a strong work ethic and a drive to excel. His academic record reflected their influence, with top grades that rivaled his athletic accolades. Teachers marveled at how he juggled rigorous coursework and demanding practice schedules, all while mentoring younger students. To many, he seemed to embody perfection. But behind the accolades and the bright future that everyone saw lay a far more complex reality. For all his public success, Jason carried unseen burdens and wrestled with choices that he couldn't share. His polished exterior concealed cracks, subtle but deep, that only a few ever noticed. To truly understand how this young man, so full of promise, ended up lifeless in his car on that July morning, we must delve into the hidden corners of his life. The surface tells the story of a shining star, but what lay beneath was a series of decisions and relationships that led him down a path no one saw coming. Let's step into that world and uncover the truths Jason never let anyone see. Lily Harper arrived at Atlanta High School in the spring of 2017, fresh-faced and eager to make her mark. At just 25, she was the youngest faculty member, bringing a spark of energy and creativity to her chemistry classes. Students were drawn to her approachable demeanor and her ability to turn even the driest topics into engaging discussions. Her colleagues appreciated her innovative teaching methods, and her classroom quickly became a favorite for those with a knack for science, or even just those looking for a kind smile. Jason Mitchell, already a well-known figure in the school, was one of those students. For him, Lily wasn't just another teacher. She was different. There was something about her confidence and intelligence that intrigued him, drawing his attention in ways he didn't fully understand at first. It started innocently enough: questions about chemistry homework, casual conversations after class, and lingering moments where his admiration for her was obvious, even if unspoken. At first, Lily saw nothing unusual in Jason's interest. She had seen countless students eager to excel and assumed his behavior was no different. But as the weeks passed, his attention became more personal. Compliments about her teaching shifted to comments about her looks. The lines between student and teacher began to blur. Jason, with his natural charisma and persistence, pushed just enough to test the waters without crossing them outright. His gestures were subtle: a lingering glance, a carefully chosen word, and at first, Lily dismissed them as harmless admiration. But Jason was nothing if not determined. He began volunteering for extracurricular activities she oversaw, spending more time in her presence. At school events, he'd find ways to be near her, his attention on her unwavering. And while Lily initially maintained her professional distance, there were moments, brief but significant, where she found herself drawn to his charm. She told herself it was innocent, that it was all in her head, but the tension between them was undeniable. The turning point came one ordinary afternoon after school. Jason approached Lily with a request to discuss his struggles in chemistry. He was polite, respectful, and genuinely interested in improving. Wanting to support his enthusiasm for the subject, Lily agreed to spend a little extra time going over concepts. What was meant to be a short tutoring session turned into a conversation that went beyond the classroom. They talked about their lives, their ambitions, and their frustrations. For the first time, Lily saw Jason not as a student, but as a young man on the cusp of adulthood, full of dreams and insecurities. That conversation led to another, and another. Each time, the discussions grew more personal, peeling back layers of their guarded exteriors. Jason's admiration for Lily deepened, and for her, the boundaries she'd carefully maintained started to erode. She found herself looking forward to their talks, to the way he made her feel seen and appreciated. It was dangerous, and she knew it, but the pull was magnetic. Soon, their interactions moved outside the school walls. Jason, emboldened by her attention, suggested they take a walk to clear their heads after one particularly long tutoring session. Lily hesitated but ultimately agreed. They drove together to a quiet park on the outskirts of town, a place where they could talk freely without fear of being seen. That walk marked the beginning of a clandestine relationship that would only grow in intensity. What started as shared moments of vulnerability quickly became something more. Jason, enamored with Lily, began to orchestrate opportunities for them to be alone. He reserved motel rooms in out-of-the-way locations, presenting them as places where they could meet without judgment or interruption. At first, Lily resisted, aware of the risks, but her resolve weakened under the weight of their connection and Jason's persistent charm. Their relationship became a dangerous dance, one filled with secrecy and the constant fear of discovery. They knew the stakes were high, yet they couldn't pull away from each other. Jason's youth and confidence gave him a sense of invincibility, while Lily's loneliness and growing affection clouded her judgment. They believed they were in control, that they could keep their secret safe. But what neither of them realized was that their choices were setting the stage for a devastating betrayal. As their connection deepened, so did the cracks in their carefully maintained facade. Jason's admiration began to take on an edge of possessiveness, and Lily's guilt weighed heavier with each passing day. Their once thrilling relationship became a tangled web of emotions, fraught with tension and unspoken fears. And then, like a storm brewing on the horizon, the consequences of their choices began to loom. Their secret couldn't stay hidden forever, and the decisions they had made would soon collide in ways they could never have imagined. What they didn't know was that this forbidden bond, forged in passion and secrecy, would lead to a betrayal so profound it would change both of their lives forever. Behind the seemingly flawless life of Jason Mitchell, a dark secret unraveled, a secret so twisted it would rewrite the narrative of his untimely death. While the community saw him as a star quarterback and a role model, Jason was hiding something that no one could have imagined. His forbidden relationship with his chemistry teacher, Lily Harper, wasn't just a scandal. It was the foundation of a dangerous game. Jason, fueled by a need for control and power, had begun secretly recording their private encounters. He used hidden cameras carefully placed in the modest motels where they met, capturing every moment without Lily's knowledge. At first, the recordings were his own dark secret, but then Jason stumbled upon the dark web, a hidden layer of the internet where anonymity reigns and morality is irrelevant. He realized he could profit from these videos, anonymously selling them to a shadowy audience. Each transaction gave him a rush of control and financial independence, feeding an obsession that would ultimately spiral out of control. For Jason, it wasn't just about the money. The recordings became his way of holding power over Lily. With every meeting, he felt more in control, convinced that his secret would keep her tethered to him. Jason, the boy who once thrived on admiration and respect, had crossed a line into something far more manipulative and dangerous. But secrets like these rarely stay hidden, and one careless mistake changed everything. A notification on Jason's phone, a single slip, caught Lily's attention. What she saw left her frozen in disbelief. As her suspicions grew, so did her dread. When she finally confronted Jason, he didn't deny it. Instead, he brushed it off, claiming it was harmless, even necessary. But to Lily, it was the ultimate betrayal. The trust she'd given him, despite the wrongness of their relationship, was shattered. Her world began to collapse. The recordings weren't just an invasion of her privacy, they were a ticking time bomb. If they ever came to light, her career, reputation, and entire life would be destroyed. Lily, who had once been drawn to Jason's charm, now found herself living in fear. She tried to pull away, to distance herself from the web of deceit he'd spun, but Jason refused to let her go. His persistence was relentless. Late-night messages, unexpected visits, and subtle reminders of the leverage he held. For him, it was all about control, but for Lily, it was about survival. The fear and betrayal consumed her, pushing her to a breaking point. As their relationship spiraled further, the tension between them became unbearable. Lily wasn't just scared, she was desperate. Jason, blinded by his obsession, couldn't see the damage he was causing or the storm that was brewing. Speaking of storms, here's a calm reminder. If you're hooked on this story, now's the perfect time to subscribe to Vic's True Crime Story. I promise, we'll keep the shocking twists coming, and no hidden cameras involved. Just hit that button and let's keep this story rolling. The stage was set for a confrontation that neither Jason nor Lily could have anticipated, one that would end with irreversible consequences. What started as a forbidden romance was now a web of control, fear, and betrayal, one that would lead them both to the edge. On July 7, 2017, the warm Atlanta air carried an eerie sense of finality for Lily Harper. After months of living in fear, weighed down by Jason Mitchell's relentless control and the threat of exposure, Lily made a decision. She couldn't see a way out of their tangled relationship, except for one: to end it permanently. Using her background in chemistry, Lily formulated a chilling plan. In the privacy of her home, she prepared a syringe filled with potassium cyanide, a deadly toxin capable of causing an almost immediate death. For her, it wasn't just about escape, it was survival, a desperate act to reclaim her life from Jason's grip. That afternoon, Lily approached Jason after school. Her demeanor was calm, almost detached. She proposed one last meeting at the spot where their relationship had first crossed the line, the secluded wooded area just outside town. To Jason, this felt like an opportunity to mend the growing rift between them. To Lily, it was the setting for the end of a nightmare. The drive to the wooded area was quiet, the atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. Jason, sensing something was off, tried to make small talk, but Lily's curt responses only deepened the unease. For her, every second was calculated, every word a mask hiding her intentions. She clutched her handbag tightly, knowing it contained the syringe that would soon bring their twisted relationship to its conclusion. As they pulled into the clearing, memories of their first clandestine meetings hung heavy in the air. The place that once felt like an escape now seemed hauntingly final. Jason leaned back in his seat, ready to dive into yet another conversation, but Lily's movements were swift and deliberate. In one smooth motion, she retrieved the syringe from her bag and injected the cyanide into his leg. The toxin worked quickly, shutting down Jason's body in moments. He didn't even have time to react. For Lily, the silence that followed was deafening. She stared at him, motionless in the driver's seat, before snapping into action. She collected his phone, a damning piece of evidence containing the recordings that had haunted her for months, and wiped away any traces of her presence. Then, leaving the car behind, she fled. The secluded area offered her no easy escape, but Lily was determined. She hitchhiked back toward town, carefully avoiding any routes that might place her in the view of cameras or witnesses. She was desperate to disappear, to create as much distance as possible from the scene of the crime. The following morning, July 8, 2017, Jason's body was discovered by a passing driver. The initial sight gave no hint of the dark story behind his death. Investigators first suspected a medical emergency, as there were no signs of struggle or external trauma. But the truth would soon unravel, revealing a series of calculated choices that led to this tragic end. If you're captivated by this chilling case so far, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who loves unraveling mysteries. And don't forget to subscribe to Vic's True Crime Story. Hit that button, or else you might miss the next shocking twist. And trust me, it's one you won't see coming. Jason Mitchell's lifeless body, discovered on a quiet roadside on July 8, 2017, initially puzzled investigators. The scene was eerily undisturbed, no sign of forced entry, no visible wounds. At first, the medical examiner suspected a sudden medical event, perhaps a heart attack. But the toxicology report painted a far darker picture. Traces of potassium cyanide, a fast-acting and lethal poison, were found in Jason's system. The discovery shifted the investigation into high gear. The police began piecing together Jason's final hours, interviewing friends, family, and classmates. Surveillance footage from Atlanta High School revealed a crucial clue. On July 7th, Jason had been seen leaving the school with his chemistry teacher, Lily Harper. What seemed like a professional interaction took on a sinister undertone when investigators learned Lily had been absent from work the day Jason's body was found. Armed with a warrant, officers arrived at Lily's suburban home. The front door was unlocked, an unusual detail for someone who typically kept her home secure. Inside, the house was unervingly quiet. Everything seemed in order, but when they entered the bedroom, the gravity of the situation became clear. Lily Harper lay motionless on her neatly made bed, a vial of potassium cyanide nearby. On the bedside table sat a handwritten note, a confession. In it, Lily admitted to Jason's murder, detailing the torment she had endured in their illicit relationship. She described the recordings Jason had secretly made, his refusal to let her go, and the unbearable fear that pushed her to act. In her final words, Lily expressed a mix of remorse and desperation. She didn't justify her actions but laid bare the emotional and psychological toll Jason's control had taken on her. It was a haunting account of a woman cornered by her circumstances, making a choice she felt was her only way out. The revelation sent shockwaves through the community. Jason Mitchell, once seen as the Golden Boy, now had his image forever tarnished by the secrets he kept. Lily Harper, the enthusiastic young teacher admired by her students, became a figure of both sympathy and condemnation. For the people of Atlanta, this wasn't just a tragedy, it was a reckoning. The questions that emerged lingered long after the case was closed. Did Jason's actions justify Lily's drastic response? Could intervention have prevented the spiral of manipulation and fear that led to this outcome? And what does this case reveal about the dangers of crossing boundaries in relationships of power? The story of Jason Mitchell and Lily Harper left no one untouched. It wasn't just about a forbidden romance gone wrong. It was a cautionary tale about trust, control, and the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession. If this story has left you questioning everything, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who loves a true crime mystery. And hey, if you're still not subscribed to Vic's True Crime Story, what are you waiting for? Join us now for more stories that will leave you speechless. No cyanide required. And hey, if you're still watching and haven't smashed that subscribe button, what's holding you back? Waiting for an invite to the dark web? Come on, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Vic's True Crime Stories. I promise, no potassium cyanide, just killer stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. As the suspenseful music rises, picture this. Police tape fluttering in the breeze, Jason's abandoned vehicle under a fading sunset, and a haunting glimpse of Lily's empty apartment. The questions linger, the answers remain chilling, and there's always more to uncover. See you in the next case, if you dare.